In the mist. I met her at the airport. The flight to Minneapolis was delayed, as usual. She wore a white dress and was sitting with her bare feet resting on the seat across from her. She was no raving beauty, her face thin and her hair worn short. But there's just something about barefoot women that always gets to me. I sat down near her and said, there's always a problem with the connection to Minneapolis, isn't there? I know. Great opening line. Well, you'd think of a better one. She gave a non-committal, yup. So I followed with, do you live in Minneapolis, or do you have to go on from there? North Dak. North Dak. Hey, I live in Sask, so I'm quite familiar with North Dakota. Whereabouts in the state do you live? Now, North Dakota is a rural state, a farming state, a rural state with a low population and no really big cities. But where the woman in white, her name was Tara, where the woman in white lived was especially lonely, an area of farms and not many of them. I noticed she didn't wear a ring or any kind of jewelry or makeup. In the end, we exchanged contact information, but we sat in different rows on the plane, and I didn't see her after arrival in Minneapolis. And after I got home, I forgot about her. As a result, I was surprised when, out of the blue, I got a text from her, inviting me to come and see her. I should have been suspicious as well as surprised, but I'd just broken up with my partner and was at loose ends relationship-wise, so what the hell? Minot was a 5-hour drive from home, with her farmhouse an hour beyond that. Now, like I said earlier, North Dakota has a low population, and once you leave a town like Minot, you will find yourself the only vehicle on lonely roads running past empty hamlets and abandoned farms. I had left early in the morning in order to arrive by mid-afternoon, but as I drew closer and closer to my destination, the day became progressively darker. It was not quite raining, a sort of fog or Scotch mist, but whatever you called it, it limited visibility. North Dakota is supposed to be flat, but I was now coming into an area of broad valleys, no doubt carved during the Ice Age. Drumlins and Eskers. Drumlins and Eskers or something like that. That's all I remembered from high school. But for right now, the valleys were pools of churning vapor, hiding everything within. As the mist increased, I wondered if I would reach the farmhouse before the darkness had taken total control. And then suddenly she was there, on the road before me, leaning against an old white pickup truck. Tara was clad in the white dress she had been wearing at the airport, and with the cold and damp, I figured she must be freezing. Well, I tried to warm her up. Tara was parked on the other side of some railroad tracks, so I pulled up next to her and, leaving the car, walked over and said, "Did you think I was going to get myself lost?" I then tried to kiss her, but she sidestepped me and said, "No, I knew you'd come. I want to show you something." "Oh? What's that?" "My husband." Your husband?" To say I was shocked is an understatement. I'd like you to meet him, and he wants to meet you. Just look down the tracks. I looked down the tracks, not knowing what to expect. A train? At first I could see nothing but mist. Then the dark outline of a huge, bulky shape, which made me think of an elephant. Which was stupid. But then the mist parted, and I screamed. A huge gray-green mass was flopping, was galumping down the tracks towards me. A sheer nightmare out of H.P. Lovecraft, for the thing reminded me of both Cthulhu and Wilbur Whately's brother from the Dunwich Horror. And despite its size and its waving tentacles, the thing... Hubby? The thing was moving incredibly fast. Too fast for me to make it to my vehicle and peel rubber out of there. I heard Tara cackling as she said, "You know, I think you've made him jealous." I turned to look at her and saw her bulging, staring eyes, her slightly greenish skin, her slightly pointed ears, and her hair, which was alive and writhing with... Oh my God! And as the thing, hubby, enveloped me, my last thought was, if Tara had looked like that, if terror had looked like that at the airport, I would have taken flight in the opposite direction. The moral of the story? Long-distance relationships with strangers can be murder. If this is your first visit to my channel, please consider subscribing. My name is Warren, and I write and tell original ghost stories and original horror stories featuring such cryptids as the Night Floaters, werewolves, and the Black-Eyed Children. So again, please consider subscribing. Please help me to reach my goal of 2,500 subs. Till midnight. Cheers. Pictures used in today's video courtesy of Pix Here. That's PX here. While the music was the Hammeresque Unseen Horrors by that patron of the internet, Kevin MacLeod.